Hey, I'm Livychi and I'm going to teach you how to paint. So today we're going to be talking about values and something I like to call the ribbon principle. Now, I'm not the first one to sort of use this principle. I know Losh definitely does, if that's how you pronounce the name. I've been following her work for a very long time, so a lot of my knowledge is sort of based off of her knowledge plus other artists I've come across. Regardless of whatever style you're doing, whether you're painting or drawing, if you're doing 2D art or even digital 3D now, the whole principle is to take a flat surface, be it a piece of paper or obviously a screen, and make it look like you're looking into it and the thing there is a 3D image. Right now we're looking at some stock photographs of ribbons. They're not there. That's just a flat screen. So, like, your brain is tricked into the illusion that there is something there. And the thing that tricks your brain into thinking this is values. And values is how light or dark something is. So yeah, of course these are photographs, but they're not real anymore. But our brain perceives them as being at least 3-dimensional. So the key to put any depth into paintings or any image is to be able to control your values well. It's very, very easy to go from one extreme to the other with values. I know that's something I suffer with and I'm currently working on toning down, but you need to have values there in some degree or another. What tends to happen is most people will go really extreme with their values once they know what values are, and then sort of you tone down and get a bit of handle on them so it's not so extreme. Obviously you need extreme values when you're doing extreme lighting, but even then there tends to be like this sort of middle ground. So for these, like, the middle ground would be this colour for that one, this colour for that one, and this colour for that one. So it's kind of within the same tonal range, but they look completely different. So you can do a lot with very little when it comes to values. Value is very, very key when we come to texture, because value is how you determine the texture of something in a 2D image, because you can't touch it. So you have to give the illusion that there is texture there through how the light hits the surface. Like, colour does come into play a little bit, but it's mostly like how the light plays upon the surface is how you determine the texture. How we look, how we can tell like this ribbon here is textured and these are smooth, is because you can see the little dimples which are caused by the light hitting them. So what's this got to do with ribbon? I often find that ribbon is one of the best textures to learn to paint, because from ribbon you're able to do metal and hair and all sorts of like clothing, and ribbon kind of hops from being really, really shiny to being really diffused but still keeping the pattern of lighting of shininess. So like hair is a very good example of a texture that looks a lot like ribbon. If we do it in black and white, first of all, so we have a base colour, then we can have like a dark colour, and then next to it we can have a light colour. And then automatically that makes that look shiny. And then especially if we do like a slight dark colour, and then like a kind of mid colour, and perhaps another slight. It's this kind of pattern of dark light, dark light, dark light. But it's not always to the lightest light or to the darkest dark. Sometimes there's this middle tone that varies probably the most. On this ribbon here, you can tell it's like really metallic looking because of how extreme it goes. It's actually whiting out, like it's going as white as it can do. So the colours on this one are that, which you can barely see. Then this one. And then this is the dark. And then you have this sort of like other mid-tone as well. So it's kind of like these are completely different blues, but they're all a reaction to the different light. So if we go to this one as well, so like that's the darkest, that's the lightest, that's mid-tone, it's also a mid-tone. So it kind of like, it changes from, the values change from dark light with this sort of mid-tone throughout. But when you put it into colour, it's actually a variant of different colours. So if we do this one down here, and you got this one, and then there's that one. So you can tell these are like completely different colours from one to another. Like even the highlights aren't necessarily the same colour. So if you want to be able to do clothes of certain fabrics, ribbons obviously, and hair, the best thing to go about is just to study ribbon. And just imagine whenever you do hair, there's just tons and tons of strands of ribbon just coming off the head. Like it starts off dark and then might go to light, then might go to a mid-tone, might go dark again, another mid-tone, another highlight, and then like a highlight maybe between, or dark between. And then you can slowly build up fairly stylized hair, and from that you can like tone it down to be a bit more realistic depending on what style you're painting. Yes. Okay. No, I scoffed on mine. Well, I have a gluten-free cake. Yeah, I scoffed on my chocolate last night. I'm sorry. There's ice cream.